When we talk about playing blues, guitar players tend to focus on one hand. Now, I'm right-handed, so it's my left hand that seems to be doing all the hard work. And sure enough, my left hand's plenty busy moving up and down the neck and, playing as fast as I can, which frankly isn't that fast, but just trying to get from place to place. However, let me say this, really important, essential, absolutely. It's this hand that's driving the boat, if you will. This is where the energy comes from, is steering you through those waves. I don't want to torture that metaphor any more than I already have. But it's the energy that comes from this hand that will make this hand effective. Now, we've talked about rhythm, the importance of rhythm, the importance of touch. It's not just about notes. It's about getting everything to gel. So when I talk about this hand, and let's build this around the traditional underlying rhythm of blues going way back 100 years almost, the shuffle, Now, what I tell my students over and over again until they're sick of hearing it is that it's that motion, it's that steady up and down thing that's going to make all the difference in how everything you play comes across. This is your engine. This is driving the whole thing, and you want to keep that going. Another way to put it, more relevant, is it's the drummer. This is your drummer. Yeah, you got a drummer over there, maybe, but what I want to do is capture the feel of the drums in this hand and just doing what I'm doing. I'm muting the strings. And I'm imagining the drummer, right? And they got the foot is hitting the bass drum, boom, 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 boom. The snare, boom, bop, boom, bop, boom, bop. Second and fourth beats. The hi-hat, tit, 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 doom, bop, doom, bop, doom, bop. Now I'm verbalizing it, and I translate that verbal rendition into boom, ba bop, ba boom, ba bop, ba boom, ba bop. Now my right hand is doing it. Now, how does that turn into something that sounds like music? Well, let's take a classic shuffle, and there's nothing more classic than Jimmy Reed. Jimmy Reed was the king of the shuffle. His first recording, I believe, 1952 or thereabouts, was called High and Lonesome. It gives me chills every time I hear it. And you hear it, and it's the most natural thing on earth. It's just like a bunch of guys hanging around, having a drink or two and playing some blues. It's like, what could be more natural than that? Well, then you try to play it, and you realize, wow, there's a lot going on. This is one of the most challenging things to get it to feel right. It's really tricky, but it comes down to this combined with this. So it's like, it's the hand party. They got to work together, and if you get them coordinated and linked up, good things happen. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. Now, there's a lot going on there. It's a shuffle in the key of E, using open strings. The E chord is a one-finger chord. And then I add that. But it's how you add those notes that makes all the difference in the world. So I hit it with that downstroke, upstroke. Now, as I'm sawing away over here, my drummer is free as a bird. Just it's all about energy and vibe. So I don't want to get in the way. So that means my left hand now is the housekeeper. The left hand has to do everything to make the right hand have the most freedom and the most energy. So when I hit that, I want to be able to just swipe across the strings and not worry about it. In this hand, I have to mute the strings that I don't want to hear and emphasize the strings that I do want to hear. So right there's a technique. It's muting and fretting. And so on, right? Now, I'm playing real stylistic stuff there, the fills and so on. But it comes down to this. Now, that upstroke is just as important in his own way as the downstroke. The downstroke is where the meat of the rhythm is, but the upstroke is giving you the feeling of the shuffle. It's an equal partner. Right? And sort of dragging the pick across the strings, it gives it that lazier kind of feel, and it just makes it sound bigger. Now, I think most of you are familiar with Stevie Ray Vaughan. Right? What he did famously on Pride and Joy, which was essentially Jimmy Reed boiled down to one guitar. That's really what he was doing there. Stevie and his brother Jimmy Vaughan were both Jimmy Reed fanatics, so they studied those records, and there's a lot to study there. So there's a bunch of stylistic little things that I'll get into later, but essentially the lesson here is it's that energy. This is your source of energy. This is your housekeeper. Think of them as roommates. You got the sloppy one, who's loud, has a lot of parties, has a lot of fun, and then this one's here cleaning up after that one and making sure that the house doesn't fall apart. And you put those two together, yeah, you got a hand party.